I'm Holly Constant.
And I'm Maddie Hockaday. We really love Parks and Rec, and we really love behind-the-scenes details.
So we're researching everything from DVD extras like deleted scenes and commentaries,
plus interviewing cast and crew who actually worked on the show.
We also bring on guests and friends to geek out about everything parks.
So join us, you tropical fish.
This is literally the best Parks and Rec rewatch podcast.
We're your park pals.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.
We'll just see what happens. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
As you'll ever be?
Yes.
Okay, everyone. Well, welcome. We have a new character unlocked on the Park Pals podcast today. We have Molly Lenz. Thank you so much for being here and for doing all the tech shit that...
Of course. Thank you for having me. I'm sorry that I'm so challenged with
It's
that
not
today.
you, though. The way that you're explaining it really sounds like they have some issues going on.
Yeah, it was wild, but...
And are you getting a new laptop? Did you talk about that? What'd you say again?
Yes, I'm getting one as soon as possible. As soon as my insurance tells me whether or not they're going to give me any money.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The HOA thing. Oh, my God. And then you can use that. Woof. Have you heard of the, and this is kind of for everybody, have you heard of the, credit card thing that Apple has?
No.
Well, that's how I got this laptop that I'm using now. And if you, I guess this is with any credit card, but, if you pay it off before, X amount of months or whatever, there's no interest and no, start fee or anything like that. So...
That's nice.
Yeah, so just an option for you. I need to get a new phone, honestly, because I have an 8 Plus, ladies and gents, and it is not great for the photos.
Just hanging on by a thread.
Which is honestly, my phone's doing great. She's honestly, it's been great. There's no, shutdowns. The screen is not cracked. Cross your fingers or whatever that it doesn't happen. But it's just that annoying thing, and that's why I can't justify it yet. It's that annoying thing of do you have your phone that you can take a picture instead? Because my phone doesn't take good photos. And I'm just that is not worth $800 to me to be I can take photos by myself now.
Yeah, that makes sense. But Catherine has the newest iPhone, and it is so good. The pictures are so good.
Really?
Yeah, because I, as a photographer, I don't like portrait mode on iPhones because I can tell that it looks weird. They're trying to imitate what a camera does, but it doesn't actually look right to me. But the new one looks pretty dang good.
Legit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, good to know. Okay, I'll be thinking about that for 2024.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yes. Great reminder. I'll post your website or whatever. If anyone wants photos from Molly, please let us know.
Thank you.
She's in Nashville though, so get it together and come on down.
just fly on over.
Okay, so we are on Dave Returns. However, I have a bit of a recap / moment from last episode. So the episode where it's called Operation Ann, and it was a Valentine's Day episode. And there was a part where they are on the scavenger hunt, and Andy is spraying whipped cream all over one of the customers at JJ's Diners, or JJ's Diner, singular. And there's a guy who was on the episode where Leslie's trying to prove that she's from Pawnee. And so basically he's a recurring character. And I asked him, his name's Kenny Stevenson. He had sent in voice memos in the first one. But I asked him, how did you get your job again? How did you get back on the show, essentially? They always ask people to come back. It's build this world of Pawnee. But I figured that, he might have something new to say or whatever. And so he sent me another voice memo, and which is very funny. And also there's moments in here where he said, just keep it all in. But I didn't hear any mess up or anything. So you guys will have to tell me if you hear it. But anyways, this is Kenny, and thank you for sending that in.
All right, great. Sorry this took me so long, and I'm recording it in my car. It's just crazy. This is the most craziest time of the year. So I'm sorry if the audio is a little compared to the last time I did this when I did it on my nice podcast microphone. Okay, so use that as my intro. What I remember about this episode. So I did have a line of dialogue that was cut out. So when Pratt, where I know Chris Pratt so well from the 2 times we worked together. He's supposed to pour all the whipped cream on my steak, and then I looked up at him and said, "Why?" But then they cut that out, and it was fun. I got to deliver it kind of like really dry, like look up at him and just kind of go like, "Why?" And it was great. But they cut it out. That being said, it was still like a tremendously fun day of shooting. Everybody with leave it in the podcast, everybody.
See, this is where I don't know what he's talking about.
Everybody on the set was really great because I had come back, and I believe like Adam Scott had remembered me from the first time that I was on, and Pratt had remembered me, and it was fun to actually do. Like I did actually kind of interact with him more, and he's really fun, like ready to play, and he wasn't supposed to like dump the whole can of whipped cream on it. He was only supposed to do a little bit, but we were just kind of, messing around in rehearsals, and that's why he dumped the whole thing on there. And we had to shoot in the famous, diner that they go to for waffles, which was really great. It's great. I mean, any time to work on that show was the best day ever. And even if it was like one line that was then cut, I also will say this too. Everybody else in the scene is an extra, and so the woman playing my wife had to like specifically like not be. They had to like angle away to shoot it so you couldn't see her face. So she had to like turn away from the camera. Otherwise, they would have had to give her a. They had to give her like Taft Hartley her into SAG, or give her like a SAG voucher for being like on camera. So they they tried very hard to make this woman not look at camera. So that I kind of felt bad for that person, but such is the life of an extra. I hope this isn't just the rantings of like a crazy person, and that this all makes sense. But I've got 2 more episodes coming up, and I'm happy to talk about either one of them. All right. Have a great holiday.
That's it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he was just like, when he said leave it all in, maybe he meant like when he paused or something. I mean, I could hear his like clicker, his like signal turning or whatever. He was driving probably. But anyway, regardless, thanks for sending that in. First of all. Secondly, I could totally see Pratt doing that, like just dumping the whole whipped cream thing on there. That makes total sense. Number 3, oh my God, do not even get me started on the whole, as long as their face isn't recognizable, we don't have to pay them. I've been going through something, which I can talk about here, I guess, but I've been going through like this commercial thing, just long story short, that has been going on since August. And it was, since I'm non-union, they can't see my face, but they still are allowed to use my like hands, back of my like head, neck, all these things. And they just keep going back and forth with these addendums, and they're stupid. Like and I've never called people stupid. I was telling my other actor friends, like I actually very rarely call people stupid. I call them like ignorant, maybe dumb, maybe a little bit dim-witted, something like that. But that means that they don't really know what they're doing. I feel like they know what they're doing, or they just have like, they have no idea, and they're just stupid as far as how this runs. But anyway, I feel bad for that lady too. She said, but it sounds like they actually knew what they were doing with parks. But whew, that is a whole other thing. Especially I've been in an extra as well, but I mean I feel like an extra is different because you kind of know what you're getting into. I feel like that you're not really meant to be seen or whatever. But anyway, that was Kenny's, and I appreciate him sending in voice memos. That was really fun, and I feel like every voice memo is like more chaotic than the next.
And there's 2 more to come.
And there's 2 more. Okay, so now we are officially into Dave Returns, Season 4, Episode 15. This was written by Harris Whittles, who we talked about last week. If you're new here, he was just on Operation Ann. He's one of the people that Ann dates, and has one of my favorite lines of like when Ann kind of passes on him. He's like, "You're lost, little mama." So funny. He's also one half part of the animal control of Pawnee, and he's just a huge producer, writer, comedian, or he was rather. Rest in peace. We love you. He is no longer with us, but we love him. And we'll see him so many times in the future. And then this was directed by Robert B. Wide. It's Weide. Wide? I don't know. But anyway, he is a new director for the show. This is his first ever, and I think only maybe with Parks. But he's a director, producer, writer, and he's a really prominent documentary filmmaker. So he's in that world, which is awesome. But the main thing that he's known for is Curb Your Enthusiasm. Which is, again, kind of like that documentary, mockumentary situation. So he totally knows what he's doing. One of the documentaries that he's doing now, I think, is a Kurt Vonnegut. That's how you say his name, right? I think Kurt Vonnegut. Anyway, he's doing a documentary about him. He was nominated for his work on the Lenny Bruce documentary, who was a stand-up in the 50s, 60s. And he also won an Emmy from the Directors Guild of America, or DGA, for Curb. So that's awesome. And yeah, also he did the movie The Giver, that one that's based off the Lois Lowry book. And I haven't seen that before, but I should watch that. I love that book. I remember in middle school, I was such a fan of all her books. Did you ever read those?
I don't think that I did, but I think I remember one of my good friends, that was her favorite book.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It was a big deal
popular.
It was a big deal back when it came out. And it still is, but I think it was like one of the first like dystopian kind of, not Handmaid's Tale, but you know what I mean? Like it's not really happening, but it totally could happen kind of vibe, which was amazing. But anyway, yeah, and then Curb Your Enthusiasm is finally coming to a close. I saw that on Instagram the other day, and I was like, it's still on? What? It's like 15 seasons or something. It's gnarly.
That's wild. We started watching it from the beginning and then just lost track of it. Because I think, it's on HBO, right? Mm-hmm. I think maybe we don't even have a login to that anymore. We wanted to like get to the current ones, but we never made it.
I mean, I do feel like it's probably one of those shows that you can just like skip around with. Maybe, I don't know. I'm sure there's a storyline, but so much of it is improvised and everything. So it'd be fun for him to do a documentary on that, honestly, on like how they make that. And I'm sure there's some kind of behind the scenes thing, but that'd be cool. But anyhow, so those are the team, the writers and directors that we have. So really great team today. Maddie is not with us because she is literally due, what is it, next week? I'm hold on, let's see, what's today, the 16th? Okay, I have told myself I'm going to keep these, trying to like from here on out be like evergreen so that you can't tell when we recorded it, but I can't do it. I just can't do it. I have to talk about what's happening right now. Anyway, it's December 16th right now, and she is due on the 25th technically. So yeah, we've like a week in like 2 days.
That's exciting. Do you think it's actually going to come on Christmas?
I don't know. Well, I feel like it's going to come earlier. Luckily, her mom is there now. So shouts to Maddie's mom. So glad that she's going to be there because Maddie was like, she has to be here for this. And I was like, thank God. So I don't know. I feel like it might come earlier because she's been talking about how like big she is and how like other things. And I was like, but the point of all of that is, number one, that we're sending her love and luck and light. And secondly, is that she sent in her summary because Maddie does the summary. So, and some thoughts and stuff about this episode since she couldn't join us. So I will go ahead and play that now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you guys are having just as nice of weather as I am having. It is like 60 degrees here, which is super nice. I am here to give you your summary for Dave Returns, which is one of my favorite episodes, so I'm sorry I can't be there, but I'm excited that I can give you my summary. So, this week in Pawnee, Leslie and Ben work on getting an endorsement from Chief of Police before he retires. While at the police station, Leslie runs into an old flame, leading to a very interesting dinner date between Leslie, Ben, and Dave. Meanwhile, Andy and the rest of the gang gather in a studio to record Leslie's campaign anthem. Tom pushes his luck with Anne. So my first thing that I have to say is that Dave, the way he handles this whole situation is crazy, especially handcuffing. But I also get that he's got to shoot his shot. I have to respect it because you don't want to have regrets later. Like if he made it back to California and was like, I really wish I would have told Leslie, you know, because he's probably still hanging on to her. He doesn't know the connection she and Ben have. Like I have to respect that he at least spoke his mind, but like he did not have to go to the lengths that he went to. And he should have respected when she was like, you know, I'm with Ben, like he should have just, you know, dropped it. Chris's Take Me Out to the Ball Game audition is one of my favorite things in the entire world. I really want to believe that that is how Rob Lowe actually sings. My husband, Ivan, who we talk about a lot on the podcast, he sings Take Me Out to the Ball Game that way every single time we are at a baseball game because it is also his favorite. So I had to make a shout out to that. Tom and Ann, I just have my cringe face emoji because Tom and Ann, come on. Oh, it's so... but our song that we sang in the last episode for this, so good. His little baby, I'm sorry for how I acted. So good. Love it. I'm here for it. And that he went out into the rain for her to be romantic. And then lastly, I love this little nod to Duke Silver that we have. I love that Ron comes in to save the day and that April has this backstory of being his confidant and keeping his secret safe. So great episode. I'm so excited to hear what you guys talk about and all the fun things that you guys find. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful recording.
Yay! Awesome. Yes. Oh my gosh. We have so much to talk about in that summary that we will dive into as we get into it. Okay. So the episode is starting with Tom just being Tom. Last episode, Ann and Tom went out and it was weird for everyone except maybe Tom. And I mean, as much as like, it's kind of funny because I feel like we always talk about how Tom is kind of like sleazy and weird and just whatever. But these like last couple episodes, they're actually kind of like funny that he's doing it. It's not just like, gross.
Yeah, it's like more charming. He seems like a little bit more pure about wanting to be with her.
That's so true. Yes, pure. A little bit more. Where he's like calling her, I love all the nicknames he has. Hey, Boo Boo Bear.
Anberry sauce.
I love Anberry sauce. Oh my gosh. So not Anne. Anne does not love this. So Tom is not reading the room here. But Cookie Tush, Winnie the Boo, Lady Presh Presh. Oh my gosh. Annie, get your boo.
I feel like that's like a little dog's name. Lady Presh Presh.
Oh, that's so true. Oh my God. Tommy's girl. Annie Banani. I wrote them all down because I was like, they're all so brilliant and they're totally like, I don't know. I feel like they have just having, seen the writers from the previous episodes, they're totally Harris Whittles vibes who wrote this episode. So, but also very Aziz. So, I'm sure that he had some things to say about that. But Anne is clearly like, nothing happened. Like, there is no us. What are you talking about? But it's still really hilarious to me that Tom just like keeps pushing and doesn't really get any sort of social cue from her.
When he pushes her into the room and he's just like shoves everything off the desk.
Yes.
Like,
I misread the vibe. I love saying that. I don't know if I've said it like recently, but I love saying vibe instead of vibe. It's so great. Oh my gosh. But Anna's like, oh my God, you have to be cooler about this because, we have to know if it is something, which like I already know it's not. I'm so sorry, but it's not. To me personally. Maybe it could be. But like I said, as much as we talked about this in the last episode when they went on their first date or whatever, but as much as I don't love them like being together, the writers putting them together is a really good like comedy moment because them two, I don't know. I just think it's really hilarious.
Yeah, I know. I'm like shook by the fact that she even is entertaining this.
Me too. That's how I felt last time. I was just like, Anne. But I also do get it to a certain degree. Like 10% of me gets it because we talked about, again, in the last episode where April was like, he's the only one that's made you smile tonight. Like, why not at least try? I don't know. Because all she wants is someone, which we all want, like someone who likes us and makes us laugh and whatever. And that's like all Tom kind of did in the last episode. So like, I think she's just like, okay, fine, fuck it. Why not?
I do think like the juxtaposition though, like I did watch the last episode just because I was like, I wanted to get myself back into it.
Yeah.
And the fact that like Tom does that, like, do you think she has a little Indian in her?
Oh my God.
Like that whole thing, the fact that that happened and then they end up on a date on the same episode is crazy.
Oh my God. It is crazy, actually. That's really interesting. Yeah, to see like from the arc of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like, well, what's wild is that like that whole thing, that whole like Indian in her, like is not about Anne at all. It's just about being a sleaze. Yeah. So you would say that for any lady that they're talking about. Oh my God. But Anna's like, don't tell anyone. Like, I told Leslie because she's my BFF, but like, don't tell anyone else. And Tom is really like a little puppy dog. Speaking of puppies, it was like, I feel like you're embarrassed by me.
She's like, yeah.
That is accurate. I love how straightforward she is too. That's really important, I feel, in this whole thing of like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. This is what it is kind of vibe. I like that a lot. Oh my God. Remember Facebook statuses? Yes. Relationship statuses? Blast from the past.
I love it on the screen too. It's like Tom Haverford, ... It's complicated.
Yes, exactly. They totally like recreated the Facebook like screen. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Remember, that was such a huge deal though. It was like such drama and you could see it change like in your feed or whatever. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh my God, big deal.
A lot of drama. I had an ex who wouldn't have it public on his Facebook that we were in a relationship, and he kept lying to me and acting like it was set to on, but like he couldn't figure out why it wasn't showing up. And I was like, you are
no,
you're full of shit. Can I swear on this podcast?
Of course, I already said fuck 8,000. What? That's crazy. What a liar.
I know. And like looking back, it's just ridiculous.
Well, in high school too, you like, I don't know, I just feel like you give them the benefit of the doubt. You're like, oh, it must not be working.
Yeah, like how does tech work? How do we use Facebook?
When there's clearly like other things that he's updated that are working, you know? Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Well, not funny, but like, fuck that guy. But also, do you remember when like I used to do this? I used to like say that you were like married to like your girlfriends or something.
Yeah. Yes, I never had one of those. I was always jealous because people seemed really cool when they had like that close friendship.
Yeah, it's really special and funny. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Well, it's just funny because like I'm thinking of it then and how big of a deal Facebook in general was. And now I want to delete my Facebook so bad. I don't even see a point in it for the artists. Like people keep it for artists like stuff. And I could see that maybe for I don't know, businesses maybe where you're trying to sell stuff or like Facebook ads are working for you, but like it's done nothing for the podcast. It very rarely does anything for my like, or did anything for my music when I had it out. I don't know, like some people did, but I'm just like, I don't know. It's kind of a buzzkill, except for the memories. I do like the memories. That's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So anyway, I paused it on Tom's Facebook page. Speaking of ... It's complicated. And someone commented, like they set it up like it was an actual Facebook page, which was really funny. And I always love pausing on like their recreation of stuff. But basically someone commented on his wall saying, stop posting things on my wall. Who are you? That was from a Tara Jane Rose. And then there's a Jim Haverford saying, what up, cuz? How's things with E720? And I was like, what? Who's Jim Haverford?
What's
he has a cousin? Oh, E720 is Entertainment 720, his business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And yeah, and then his friends. So, you know how you could like see the friends. There's Dean Holland, who is a director / editor / all the things for Parks and The Office. So they put his name in there. And then I saw online that some of the other people are accountants and production assistants / like other crew for the show. So they put their names in there too, which I think is always a fun Easter egg to see.
That is fun.
And Tom has 43 friends. And I thought that was very little for, I don't know, Facebook.
Yeah, that's like
especially with how active he is on Facebook, I would imagine, you know?
Yeah.
But maybe they just randomly picked that number. I don't know.
At least give him 100.
I know. Anyhow, there's also, oh my God, also on his wall, there's someone named Lil Dopeness that says, yo, Tommy T, I'm trying to get a t-shirt. Hit me up. I I just love all these details. It's so funny. So anyways, I just thought that I would share that with you because I love that. Anyway, so now Leslie and Ben, do you have any like notes or anything before that though?
Nope, we covered everything I said.
Okay. So now Leslie and Ben are going to see Chief Trumple, the police chief, and Ben's nervousness and fear around cops shows up again. Like, oh my God, the captain thing. Like, okay, Captain.
And then he says, Dead Poet Society.
I know. Yeah, he has to say, like, you know, that is Dead Poet Society. Like, that's what it's from. And I love Chief Trumple, too, of, like, you getting weird already? Like, what is happening, you know? I would also love to know this. I think I wrote this later on in the show, but now that we're talking about it, I'm just like, what is Ben's hang up with cops? Like, we never actually talk about why he's so scared of them, you know? I mean, I guess it's like a legitimate fear, but at the same time, it's not really. I don't know. Very strange.
I kind of get it. I think maybe it could just be an authority thing. Like,
yeah.
Generally, I'm scared of anyone who I feel like I will be in trouble with.
Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, he does talk about like in later, I think he's talking about Louis C.K. or Dave when he's like, he has a gun, that kind of thing. I could see that too. Mm-hmm. But like, I don't know. He's a white, straight man. I think he's fine.
Yeah. I know. That's the other thing that I think, like, sometimes I get nervous around a cop and then I'm like, well, probably nothing's going to happen to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and he has that line of like, I'm not scared of cops. I have nothing to be scared of, or I like never do anything wrong because I'm scared of cops. So like, anyway, but I would love to like have some backstory as to like why they wrote that or whatever. But anyhow, back to Chief Trumple. Okay, so Chief Trumple is played by Eric Pierpoint. And we've seen him before many times. He's pretty much any time the police comes up. That's really good for the show. Like they always have the same police officers show up, which is wonderful. And recently he was in something called I Am Gitmo. I don't know what that is, but check it out. 911 Lone Star. Lots of people on Parks have been on that show. And Rob Lowe is also on 911. Workaholics. And for Parks, this is his last episode because he's retiring. But he has been in it before. He was in Ron and Tammy's too, where they're at the bar with Megan Mullally, and the Eagleton episode when Leslie has to go to the Eagleton jail. And also he was in Liar Liar, and he was a sheriff on Holes.
Wow.
The movie Holes with Shia LaBeouf. So, like, typecast, I guess, as a sheriff. But I need to go back and watch Holes. We should have a viewing of that and look for him.
Yeah. I would love
that movie.
Yeah.
What a moment. Oh, my God. So good. I did talk to him, Eric Pierpoint, and we've been exchanging emails, but I think it just happened. The recording happened too fast. So hopefully he'll be able to send me in some voice memos and I can add it in, or some emails or something, and I can add it into the next episode because I'd love to hear, like, you know, any memories or thoughts that he has about being on the show. Anyway, we learn that Leslie is trying to get Chief Trumple's endorsement before he retires. And Ben is just in the background, like, so scared and tense and, like behind, this is after they're in the office, like he's sitting behind her talking head of like, I'm trying to get his endorsement. And like anytime anyone passes, he's just like freezes and tenses up, and it's like so funny. And then Trumple is talking about how, and you almost forget, or at least I did, that Bobby Newport is running as well, aka Paul Rudd, because we haven't seen him in a couple episodes now. They kind of have put the campaign on hold, and this is not hold, but like, you know, for the sake of the episodes, I'm saying they haven't really talked about it as much. But Trumple is like, you know, I like you, I've always liked you, but the Newports have donated a lot of money, they run this town, and, you know, whatever, so he feels like he needs to support Bobby Newport. But then they learn that they're having a retirement party for him later, and they should stop by and he'll give them their decision of like who he's going to support. And that, I think that's a really cool, I don't know, I guess nod to politics of like, you know, they give us a lot of money, so we have to follow the money. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's not empty money from what he talks about. Like they're providing vests, uniforms, that kind of stuff. So, you know?
Yeah.
So, also I like how he says, there's going to be beer. He just randomly says that. That's why you should come. There's going to be beer. Oh my God. Then when Ben leaves, he gets crazy again. Adam Scott's performance is so on point, though. He tries to be complimentary and tries to be like, the boys in blue. oh boy, here it comes. And he knows what he's going to say. Like 9/11. And we're walking. Oh my God. It's like word vomit in the words of Katie from Mean Girls. It's just like
so funny. When he said like some are braver than others, I'm like, where is he going with this? He's like 9/11. Oh
so, and it's so brilliant to cut him off right there. Like, no more needs to be said. Just get out of there. Oh my God. All right. Well, now Andy and April are making an announcement about the song that he wrote for the campaign. And we talked about this last night, where I just did not realize this episode is the one with the Tom song, which we talked about last episode. And also Maddie said it, the Baby, I'm Sorry, that one. And the Catch Your Dreams. I was like, what? Oh my God. Because again, the episode name has lately been only one story, and like Dave Returns is the name of this episode, and so I didn't even think about Catch Your Dreams and like Duke Silver and all these things. So it's amazing, and I'm so excited to watch that part. It's so good.
Yes.
But Andy is really hilarious, and he's like trying to make a metaphor that like music is the vaccine to the flesh-eating virus, whatever the hell. And finally, what'd you say?
The virus is music, and the vaccine is also music.
Inject it into, oh my God. And Ron's finally like, just say your piece, son. What'd you say?
It's kind of accurate. Like,
about
you get
music?
a little bit of the sickness in the injection.
You know, Molly, you are correct. Your
Maybe
body's working when you get the flu after the flu vaccine. Your body's doing what it's supposed to do. Or not get the flu, but like get flu symptoms kind of thing. Intriguing. Okay. Good to know. So Andy is smarter than we think? What?
Baby.
No, he just like stumbled into it. So funny. Side note on the DVDs, because I have the DVDs, the extras, there is the full song, full recording, and it's like a music video. They have a music video. I found it on YouTube because I was like, since it's on the extras, I'm sure it has to be somewhere. And so I'll post that in our show notes. And oh my God, it's really funny. It's really just like scenes of the show interspersed with the song, like them recording it, but it's more like you hear the full lyrics and the full song. So like it, and they don't do like Pratt is wearing quote his guitar, but like you don't see him playing it, but in the music video you do. So that's really cool to see. But yeah, it was so cute. It's like a 4-minute long music video. So definitely worth watching.
Yes, I'll have to look at that.
But Andy says that they need backup singers for this theme song, which I don't even know if I said that, but basically Catch Your Dream is the campaign song, which is Andy's job for the campaign. And he's asking everyone to come to the studio and help them sing backup. I love that comment, although it's kind of awful. Of like, it's kind of like We Are the World, but I think it might actually have a real impact. Oh no, We Are the World had a huge impact. And the second one with Haiti, oh my God, great films. I mean songs and music videos. That's why I said films. Anyway, the reason that he is taking this so seriously is because he said he originally was in charge of the hot dogs at a fundraising campaign, but he dropped all of them, like 1,000. It is cute how nervous he is and like how, good of a job he wants to do.
Yeah. Well, this is a much better suited assignment for him. So
absolutely. So true. Ron knows where Double Time Studio is, where they're going to be recording. Because, well, it's not revealed, but basically the audience knows he records his Duke Silver albums there. We haven't talked about Duke in a minute, so I'm glad that they're bringing it back.
I was going to say, I couldn't remember because it's been a while since I've watched the whole series. Like, I didn't know if this was the first time that Duke Silver comes up or not.
Yeah, no, we've talked about him before. We talked about him when a couple things. First is when April knows who he is because her parents have all his albums, and she recognized him like the second he met him, but she didn't say anything. And then they have that episode in like the second season maybe where they're trying to find dirt on each other, and Tom finds out. Which is interesting because I think it's Tom, because they don't talk about that in this episode, but I think Tom went to the bar or whatever, and I don't know why, but he like saw Duke Silver performing, and Ron was like, don't say anything, like don't talk about it. But I can't remember. I don't know. I guess Tom just doesn't even think about it. And that's what I'm going to say. I'm sure they just forgot that and didn't want to write it in, but I'm going to say he either forgot about it or like didn't think about like this might be where Duke performs to. You know what I mean? So, anyhow, okay. So now Leslie and Ben are walking out of the police station together, and we see that Dave, aka Louis C.K., comes back, who she used to date. They have this awkward encounter, like almost hug, but not really, shaking hands kind of situation, and it's so weird. Ben is introduced to him, and it's like very strange to see them all together. Dave has the talking head, and it's very awkward. I like the way he delivers it though, and like his pronunciation of certain things, like California,
which is several miles southwest.
Oh my god, and burrito. Oh my gosh, we had a romantical involvement.
Does he always talk like that, or is it just his discomfort in this episode?
He always talks like that, and I think he always has that. Like the way he plays Dave is just that way. But yeah, I don't know. And there is a moment. And I told Maddie this because she's the expert on it, and I texted her and I was like, if this is out of line, whatever, because she studies autism and has worked with autistic people, and I was just like, I feel like the way that Dave is speaking, like his like, I don't know, directness and bluntness, and like doesn't really take social cues. He's almost playing it kind of like he might be on the spectrum. And Maddie verified that and was like, yeah, even his speech pattern and the way he pronounces things, and like how, and that it's very like telling of how like someone on the spectrum might speak or behave. And I was like, that's so interesting. I mean, I did look it up because I did a deep dive. I was like, does he, I don't know, is Louis C.K. kind of, I don't know, maybe. But no, he's not. He just is playing it this way. And he doesn't, like, Louis C.K. doesn't speak like this normally. It's just the way I think it's written, number one, but number two, just like his awkwardness, I think, and the way that it's written of like very direct lines and not taking that social cue of like, I'm gonna sugarcoat this kind of thing or lie or whatever. I think it's just how he's choosing to play it, you know?
Yeah, it's so good, the whole episode.
It's so good. There is another talking head also at the restaurant, which may have been improvised because Louis C.K. just goes on forever and ever about how he likes Leslie's face curvature, and more about like women in San Diego, like how he's been with women in San Diego, but they were not like they were just like one nights kind of thing, and that's not Leslie. And I just think it's funny how they either gave him all that or Dave improvised that. I don't know what it was, but it was so funny, and I get why they cut it because it was long, but they got the awkwardness down. They didn't need to have that scene in there.
That's funny.
Anyhow, well, Dave is in town for the Chiefs retirement party, and for some reason, Leslie feels the need to say that they're going to like a French restaurant. And for me, it was like, I think it's because she wants Dave to know that they're together and they're going to have a romantical moment. But then it's weird because after he says that he's going to eat a burrito at that desk that looks really sad, she invites him for some reason to come to the romantical French restaurant.
Leslie, it sounds so sad that he's going to eat a donut in the office.
You mean a burrito? Yeah, I guess you're right. Ben's like trying to get out. He's like, okay, bye. You should come with us to dinner. Leslie says at like the same time. And I'm like, oh God. Also, O'Flanagan's probably has food. Like, just eat there, Dave. Come on. Oh my God. Or Flanagan's, whatever they called it. It's some Irish pub. Yeah. Anyhow. So, yeah. Very weird. And then Dave just agrees. He's just like, okay. So wild. Anyway, so we'll see how that goes. But I did love that Ben says, as they're walking out, Ben has this moment where he says, you know, if you want to go out with him alone, like, I'm fine with that. Just do whatever you want to do, which I think is great, especially since he knows the history. He's not being jealous, and like he's just saying, you know, if you want to catch up, I don't care. Also, I'm sure he doesn't want to spend more time with the cop than he needs to, but I think more so it's that he trusts Leslie to just have a moment if she needs to, you know?
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, even if you are feeling jealousy, which I don't think that he is, but just being in that situation, it's almost better to not be there. Like,
yeah,
if they're going to catch up, it'll make you more uncomfortable to witness it than to just going to go and do that and you don't have to know what they talked about.
Yeah, that's true too. It's like, especially if you have that feeling, you know? But I feel like that prompts so many people to be there to like make sure nothing crazy happens. Again, which is so not what Ben is doing. But I'm just like, that just makes everything worse. Just go be by yourself if you want to catch up, you know? Oh my God. But I do like that, that they showed that part of like Ben's acceptance kind of thing. And then Ben is in the background in the car, so nervous. Again, every time a cop passes him, even though he's in the car, like protected by a car, he like flinches when they come past him. Oh my God. Side note, these parking lot shots that they'll either be in City Hall parking lot or they'll be here at this parking lot, like wherever there's a parking lot that looks like this. It's usually at the CBS Radford lot in Studio City. They just use their parking lot, and I've seen like extras, and I've talked to Shauna, our camera operator, and she always says that they're usually just in the studio parking lot, which I think, for me, I think that's interesting because like it's just a scene, so like why would you go to a location, you know what I mean, or just like a scene, just like a second. So like, you know, I also don't understand quite, maybe it's just because I've never been in this position before, and if you have, please tell me, but like I don't super understand why Leslie wants Ben to like Dave as much as she does, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. She said like he's very important to me, but
yeah,
I would only understand that, I think, if they were still friends, but it seems like they like in contact.
Yeah, that's how I felt. When she said that too, or when Ben said that, somebody said it of like, I know he's important to you kind of thing. And I was like, they don't seem to be keeping in touch, first of all. Yeah. But secondly, like, so like, yeah, like you said, if they were friends, I could understand it. But maybe it's because she did have like a really deep relationship with him when they were dating. So maybe that's why he's important. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like if he's not in your life right now, like, why would you care?
Yeah. So, I mean, I could see like, I'd like them to get along and whatever, but they did that at the police station, kind of. Yeah. They don't need to go to a French restaurant. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, write in, folks, audience, if you have ever been in this position. Okay, so now we are back at the recording studio, or not back, but we're like back with them, and now they're at the recording studio, and Ron sees a poster of Duke Silver and takes it down so no one will notice, and it's really funny because Andy is standing right in front of it and he doesn't notice, which I don't know, honestly, if Andy would notice even if he was staring at him in the face, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the sunglasses.
And the fedora takes it all out of Ron, essentially. But anyway, April's the one that knows because, like I said, her mom has all the records. So she agrees to help him hide this. And it really is so wild how long he's managed to keep this a secret because the town is small, and I don't know. I mean, I know he performs in like Eagleton and not necessarily Pawnee all the time, but like people in Pawnee know him and like they would know his face, I feel. So it's very intriguing to me. He's just a secretive dude, I guess. I guess because also his persona is so different too. So maybe if you don't see him with the sax or without the sax and like without the charming kind of like suave, swoony vibes, you wouldn't think about it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not sure who plays the engineer. Chuck is what they called him in the show. He's not listed on IMDb, but I was really interested because I was like, that'd be so cool to like hear from him to see how it was like being behind the booth, you know? But well done to him. I think he had great facial expressions for how for no lines and everything. The way he reacted was great. And then we see the whole band is here. Mouse Rat. The whole band is playing on this song, and that's so exciting because we haven't seen them in a minute. I don't even know how long it's been. We saw them at April and Andy's fancy party, aka their wedding, but that was like a hot minute ago. So Anyway, our friend Burly, aka the guitar player or the electric guitar player, has been so great and always sends us messages and always sends us like memories that he has. So I messaged him again, and he sent me an email back, which is so exciting. And he sent a picture, which I will have to show everybody. I'll post it on our Instagram. But anyway, I love the line that he has where Andy wants to play it live as if it's a live thing, and he's like, "So we have to play it perfectly every time?" No, Burly, play it imperfectly. You mean unperfectly? Or what? Or no, unperfectly. You mean imperfectly? It's just a hot chaos mess, as in what April says.
I know.
But anyway.
So funny, like just that concept that they're not good enough to to play it well.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh.
He's like, wait,
but like, you can do it. Like, you can have that live feel. I don't know why Burly is so freaked out. I guess he just thinks that it needs to be so perfect or something.
Mm-hmm.
But then, you know, I guess the way Andy says it too, it's like the live feel. When I think live feel, I'm just like not loosey goosey, but just like this is real, authentic, maybe some gritty, you know, not produced vibes. But I don't think that's what Andy is picturing. I feel like Andy's like, no, this has to be excellent, perfect every single time, you know? But anyway, okay, so Burly sent me an email and he said, "Hey, Holly, I'm so glad the strike is over and you can talk about parks again. This was honestly my favorite episode to shoot. We basically hung out in a studio together for a few days. So much fun with the full cast, tons of laughter, way too many alts and fun runs, tons of improv, none of which ended up in the episode. We jammed a bit too. I hopped on the drums and Rivers took the guitar. Mark Rivers is the drummer, and he also writes all of the songs for Mouse Rat, which is amazing. And he wrote, well, I just said that part. He didn't say that. Back to the email. We both play multiple instruments, is what Burly said. I'm not really in touch with Rivers, sorry, because I haven't been able to get in touch with Mark Rivers, and I'd love to interview him because I want to know all about Mouse Rat. Anyway, Burly said, I've attached a super grainy pic I found from one of the shoot days. Someone shouted, "Burly, quick, cast pic!" And I jumped in. LOL. The late, great Harris Whittles was such an incredible guy. Brilliant. Have a great holiday season, and hi to Maddie. So, yay, thank you for Burly for sending all that. That was really great. And no, I was going to say I would have loved to seen the improv scenes or like, I don't know, versions of what they did, alts and stuff, but that's not in the deleted scenes on the DVD extras, so I'm just gonna imagine they had so much fun. I can't even imagine. Like jamming too. Oh my god. Because they all actually play the instruments, you know?
Yeah, that would be very fun. I wish we could see some footage of that.
I know. But then I asked if it was at a real studio, and he sent that it was at a real recording studio called Entourage Studios in North Hollywood. Sadly, it's closed for good now, and it looks like I was wrong with the date on that pic. We filmed in December of 2011. I think he wrote 2012 originally. But Entourage Studios, yeah, I emailed him back and I was like, that's one of the saddest parts of this job, or my like, you know, duties of this, is finding who or what places are actually closed. There are so many places that they filmed that were like staples in the community, and they're not there anymore, which is very sad. But nevertheless, they happened and they were there. I wonder if I can pull up the picture that he sent me so you can just see it in real time, because it is really cute, and the director is in it as well, and Burly, or not Burly, even though he did send that, the director and Harris Whittles, the writer.
Oh, cute.
Yeah,
it is very great. But
the guy in the yeah, it is. The guy in the middle is the director, and then Harris is like the one in the middle of Tom and Tom and Chris. Oh, and then that's Burly all the way in the back. He must have been on drums, like he talked about. But anyway, and then Alan Yang, who is the bass player, is right there. Mm-hmm. And he is like a huge backbone, which we talk about this all the time. Writer, producer. He was just like a huge part of Parks and made it what it is. And then Mark Rivers obviously was the drummer that we talked about, and I'm pretty positive he got cut out because I don't see him, but I do see like a body right there. And I'm just like, oh no, I don't think I see Rivers. But anyway, so I thought that was really nice. So thank you, Burly, for sending all that information. That was wonderful. So exciting. Okay. Oh my gosh. So now Tom is asking for a sip of Anne's water, and Jerry just has to make a thing out of it. That's cute. Like, you two sharing a nice, like, sip of water, bottle of water. Like, shut up, Jerry! Get out of here!
He seems so, like, I don't know. It doesn't even seem sarcastic. He's just...
Oh, he's always genuine. That's the thing that we've decided is that, like, people make fun of him because that we, like, originally I think you think that he is, like, dumb or whatever. But it's really just because they're never on the same page.
Yeah.
They're, like... He's never mean or sarcastic about it, except for to the guy who's named Kyle, who, like, they have, like, a beef or whatever. But anyway, yeah, he's just, like, is always genuine. He's just never reading the room, you know? But anyway, we learned that Tom told people, which is annoying. I also, if I'm being honest, I kind of like his velvet suit. His, like, crushed velvet, I think is what he calls it. It's very fancy and cute. Mm-hmm. Also, I noticed that Chris in the background is kind of upset, like, when he learns of Tom and Ann dating, because Ann used to date Chris. But, like, I don't really understand why, because, like, he's not trying to be with Ann. He broke up with her.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what that was supposed to mean when he said, well, I didn't know. I just have to
adjust.
Adjust.
Yeah, it's very strange. I'm like, Chris, you have no right to adjust. Like, what the fuck? You dumped her. I think he's still upset about Millie, and so he's thinking about, like, who else he can be with, because they had that whole, like, waving situation in the last episode where, like, you think something might happen between them again, but I don't know. I was just like, Chris, whatever. So that's that. But it was a good, like, well, good, I guess, is not the right word. It was an interesting... I guess, like, addition to this whole unfolding of learning that Tom and Ann went on a date. Mm-hmm. I also really like the thing that Tom says of, like, you know, I told them while we were on the date, like, as soon as humanly possible, I spread the word, basically.
Well, this is another thing that I thought was kind of cute when he's like, you're too hot to hide, Ann.
Totally. I think that's charming. Yeah. I mean, it's annoying in a sense because Anne's like, shut up. And I totally get that. But I think that he really does like her and wants to, like, show her off. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do like that. Mm-hmm. Donna has that great line of, like, when you two spoon, who spoons who? And she has the drumsticks in her hand. So good. I love that. Okay, now we're at the unnecessary dinner. Also, if you have any notes or want to, like, stop me or anything, please do that, because
no, it's cracking me up because every line that I have written down is the ones that you have said.
Yay! Oh my gosh, it always happens that way. Oh my gosh, perfect. Okay, well, but seriously, cut me off because sometimes I, you know, go crazy. Okay. All right, so we're at the French restaurant, this unnecessary dinner. I don't want to imagine this, like, going to dinner with my ex and current boyfriend. I don't know. Have we talked about, I guess, why Leslie wants to have this approval, but, like, I don't know. Have you ever had this experience or, like, your ex met your current boyfriend or anything like that? Because I don't think I have. I have not.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a full-on dinner situation.
Yeah.
I've had moments. One of my good ones was my ex and my current boyfriend talking to each other at my dad's funeral.
What? No. Molly!
Yeah.
I don't remember hearing this story. Was it so weird?
Moment in my life. It was so weird. And one of my relatives sort of not orchestrated, but she loves to talk to everybody and she knew them both. Uh-huh. And somehow they all, like, were in a circle together. And I was like, oh no.
When you say current boyfriend, you mean your now husband?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just, like, imagining the faces in this scenario.
Exactly who you're talking about.
Oh my God, that's wild. Was the other one the one who shall not be named?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was one of the most bizarre. I mean,
I can't believe that guy came.
Yes.
I mean, I guess that's nice to pay his respects.
He and his whole family all came separately. Like, wow. They all drove, like, 2 hours. It was so nice. And I just, like, the weirdest emotions of, like, seeing this ex who I hadn't seen since we broke up, I don't think. And then obviously all of the emotions of being at my father's funeral. So it's like, you can't have enough space for all of those. feelings happening at the same time.
Absolutely. That is gnarly to like process and think about.
Yeah, it was wild. So,
oh my.
Go.
Did you ever find out, I guess it's really not important, but did you ever find out like what they talked about, or was it just like a hi, how are you vibe?
I think they were probably just chatting. There was one moment that was funny because everyone is musically educated, where we were trying to figure out the playlist, like the music that was playing over the speakers, and like something was going wrong with it, and everybody was like giving their 2 cents about like how to fix the audio situation.
No. Stop it.
Yeah.
Wow, what a crazy wild ride.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad everything was like civil though, but maybe just a little awkward, just like it is here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was fine.
But still so crazy. That is a TV show episode right there.
I know.
Wow.
I know. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, wow. I actually would love to hear. I wish that like people were more engaged. That's the thing on in 2024 I want to talk about too. I really want audience members to like really message me when I ask like, can you please message me like a situation where you had an ex and a current person, and I want to hear those and read them on the podcast, because that sounds so insane to me and would be really funny, really awkward, probably sad in some regards. Like, I don't know. I just think it would be really interesting to hear people's stories.
Yeah.
So, do that. Wow. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Okay. So Ben says Leslie's doing amazing as far as like running for city council. And Dave is like, well, the campaign manager is only as good as the person he's managing. And Ben says, yeah, if anything, I'm holding her back, which isn't real. I don't think that's true at all. Yeah. I don't know why he says that. Maybe just like be nice to Leslie. But Leslie's like, aw. And I just love that Dave is, I said my thing first. Like I was nicer first. So, but you do see, and I don't know if this was intentional. I think it was, where Leslie doesn't react the same way to Dave's compliment as she does to Ben's. So clearly Ben is, you know, my guy, you know, I really liked that. Side note, this is totally random, but I always point it out when I see something I like, but this place looks so cute. The fireplace, the wine glasses are really huge looking and fancy, the white tablecloths. I was like, I want to go here.
Yeah, it did look. Did you find out where it was?
No, I didn't find out. I'm sure that it's in a place that like they got location. This doesn't look like a studio. But they probably set it up. But there is a deleted scene. It's really funny. Like Ben shows how much he researched this restaurant on Yelp, and it's so funny. Like he knows the whole menu. I used to do this too. Yelp like isn't my go-to now. Mine is mostly Google, I think, or like just going to their website. But anyway, he knows the whole menu, and I thought it was like a very Leslie thing to do, which is kind of showing, you know, how they, you know, have things in common or whatever, but and how like they complement each other. But Dave says this place is like really fancy, so I guess a hamburger isn't, you know, like it is out of the question basically. Like I can't get that here. And Ben is like, oh, I read that they have this really good hamburger, and then it's like really awkward, and he's like, you know, hamburger, and I was like, oh my God, this is so funny. And he goes on. He's like, you know, I read the salmon is a real star, but if you wanted to try something like this, that, and the other, etc., etc. And I was like, what? There are people that do that though. So I'm not judging that at all. I think that's very smart, to be completely honest. If you're going to go to a place, especially one where you're spending a lot of money, like find out what's good, you know? Do you do that when you go to restaurants?
Yes. Sometimes. I don't know if I look at the reviews so much as the menu. Like I want to know what my options are going to be.
Right. Yeah.
But it's smarter to what is actually good.
Right. No, you know, now that I say that, I used to, like I said, I used to do it all the time, but now I don't know like what the best thing is anymore. I think I do that on Google sometimes, but I heard that somebody told me, maybe it was Brooklyn, my sister. I think Brooklyn told me that Yelp like pays, or the restaurants pay Yelp something where it's like it's not always accurate, the stars or whatever. So, and Google is better to look. So, because like people just will randomly put their reviews on there. So I don't know. Anyway, so just thought I'd share that. I definitely do what Ben used to do, or Ben does. But anyway, Dave says he can try to get Trumple to endorse her because they're friends, and that's nice. Like, but then Ben has to go to the bathroom, and Dave remembers that she calls it the Whiz Palace, and they all think it's cute, and it's just this really sweet but like weird moment where they're like bonding over the person they used to date and the person they're dating now, and it's just very strange, but it's also great at the same time. It's like such a mix of emotions, as you were talking about. But anyway, Dave drops this bomb immediately after Ben leaves that he's still in love with her, and he says it like he cuts her off basically. And there's a talking head also in the deleted scenes where Dave says like, I'm gonna tell her tonight that I am still in love with her. But I'm glad they did it this way instead. I think it was really good to see, like, for the audience to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was way funnier to just have it come out of nowhere.
Yeah. And then he tries to backtrack, and Leslie's like, this is a terrible time to say that. Like, why would you do that right now? And then he's trying to, like, explain, but then Ben comes back and does this, like, awkward, cute Wissingham manner.
Like, he does this thing with his head. He's like, Wissingham manner.
Yeah, like, shakes his head back. Yes, totally. Oh, my God, he's trying to be, like, funny and cool. And honestly, after the way he acted in the police station, being all awkward and weird, he's doing a great job of like being, you know, calm, cool, collected, funny, like charming, sweet to both of them kind of thing. I thought he was really doing a great job. And then all this happens, like relaxed is what I really mean to say. But oh my God. And then it's awkward. Like, because no one laughs at Wissingham Manor. And he's like, another name for the bathroom that I thought of. Oh my God. Anyway, all right. Well, now we're back at the recording, and Ron is so into it. I love seeing Ron into it. He, like, snaps his finger, like, to the mic on the beat, and I was like, that's amazing. You can tell that Chris is terrible. I don't know if they did this on purpose, but you can, like, hear his voice specifically and how bad he is.
That's so funny.
And then Andy stops the recording, and I love this line so much, like how Maddie is about it, like, recording, but then, like, he wants to be nice at the same time. Is that a joke? Are you joking right now? Because that was hilariously, awfully funny. How bad that was. It's so cute. Oh my God. And then this is where the line is of Chris asking Tom, like, so I overheard you, like, saying that Anne, you know, and you went on a date, whatever. It's just like, I have to adjust. And I'm just like, do you? But whatever.
Yeah, that was very strange. I didn't get the intention of that.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's a mixture of, like, him being weird about Millie and thinking about, like, who all he's dated before, thinking about Anne, how he could have had her, and she was, like, really great. And Leslie had that line in the last episode of, like, you threw her out like day old chowder or whatever. And I'm just like, yeah, Chris, like, I don't think you need to explain. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have seen all of Parks twice probably through. Mm-hmm. I have never really paid attention to the lyrics of Catch Your Dream, and it was cracking me up. Like, don't let it fly away.
So good. Shackle it to your heart. Very aggressive.
Right. It's like the opposite imagery of what you normally hear. Like, you just capture it.
Yeah. Catch it. Yeah. That's true, actually.
Don't let your dream see the light of day.
Although, you know what? It is interesting now that you say that, of like how we perceive / talk about dreams. We always talk about it kind of aggressively, where we're like, chase it, track it down, run after it, and follow it, instead of like, maybe let it come to you, or like you have a symbiotic relationship with it. But that is interesting, but especially the like lyrics of, it's very like flowy, the melody and everything, but like the lyrics are really hilarious. Don't let it fly away is really hilarious to me. I love that. Oh my God. You got a dream. You're gonna chase it. It's so good. Oh my God. The best. But yes, that is a great thing to bring up. Okay, so back at the dinner with Leslie, Dave, and Ben. Ben is being so great, like we talked about, asking how Dave's job is going. And And Leslie's like, so you're leaving, like, when are you leaving? And then he has to, for whatever reason, say that he's flying through, like, Seattle or something, which is...
I feel like he definitely was like, just so you know, so that you can come on the flight with me back to Diego because you're going to love me too. Like he has this idea that she's going to like follow him to the airport.
Yes, I got to tell you my itinerary. Oh my God. And then we have kind of another bomb dropped where Dave says he might be staying because he is here to interview for Chief Tremple's job. And Ben is really nice and is like, that's great. Oh my God, you should totally do that job. You could endorse Leslie. And Leslie's like, no, you don't have to endorse me. Like, there's plenty of other great candidates, like, whatever. And I was like, Leslie, oh my God. But then this line, I think this is my second favorite line. You look like I could use some company.
So good.
Oh my God. And I think Ben or whatever, both of them are like, what? And Leslie is like kind of in panic backtrack mode of like, no, we've caught up. We talked about San Diego. We're good. You know, it's fine. And Ben, oh my God, again, Ben is being so nice and special and just really trying to make this work. And Ben's like, you know, I could take a jaunt with you. And Dave's like, no, I don't want that. What? Oh my God. It's so weird. And Ben is like, okay. But then, you know, Dave's like, well, I'm a man of my word. I said I would go, and so I'm going to go.
That's so funny to me. I guess I'm a man of my word.
Like, I have to go by myself now, I guess. Oh my God. And then Ben, once he leaves, Ben is again being so nice and saying, like, this is going so well. Like, honestly, how are we doing? Like, I think we're doing really good. And Leslie breaks the news that, you know, Dave is in love with her. And then this is the line that I was talking about before where Ben freaks out because it's like, oh my God, he's a cop and he has a gun. Like, what is he going to do to me? He's still in love with you? What? I laughed out loud at when Dave comes back and Ben like does the cover up of like, I know, and then kind of like reaches over to Leslie like, oh yeah, I know. That's, yeah, I know.
Having a lighthearted conversation.
I feel like I've done that. I don't know in what context, but I feel like I've definitely like had a cover up situation or something when I don't want someone to hear me. Mm-hmm. But it's like so hilarious. It also really reminds me of like, I don't know why. I guess it's just because it's like a lie, but like sometimes I'll be like walking down the street or somewhere and I'll pretend to be on my phone so people don't like look at me or like talk to me.
All the time.
So and then you kind of have a conversation with somebody that's not there.
Yes. Sometimes you can just take an opportunity to think out your next move. Like, I'll be on the phone and I'm like, okay, so I think what I'm going to do is...
Yes! That's a good cover.
And I'm not talking to anybody. Myself.
But that's also like a time when you could be like, I know. Yep, I know. Maybe that's why it reminded me of that.
Mm-hmm.
So funny. Oh my gosh. Okay, so back at the studio, Andy has hot tea with honey, but Andy's is literally just honey. And it says Duke Silver on the cup. And I love Ron's hand gesture. He does this like fist in front of his face. Like, get it out of here. And April smashes the cup so that Ron doesn't have to worry, which honestly is so nice. Like, I love that April is being shown in this way, like the last couple episodes of how nice she's getting, or thoughtful, I should say. And mm-hmm. This is also where, to me, when she was inviting Chris to the movies or whatever, that in that one episode, it was like, she was just being more thoughtful to him because she knew he was going through a hard time. But with this, I feel like this is showing an arc with Ron and her being like friends, like, yeah. Like workplace proximity associates, as Ron says, because they have like that connection of not caring about work, but then they really care about the people they like and all this kind of stuff. So I thought that was really nice to be portrayed with April.
Yeah, it was very sweet.
Mm-hmm. And like her destroying things is totally in character, so it's like a good cover. You know?
And I feel like their marriage is just so good that he's just like, I love it. I love
exactly. Love that energy. See, that's stick it to the man. That's where it is at. Yeah. Yeah, it's so cute. I love it. All right. So let's see. Everybody falls for it. Oh yeah, now this is where Andy wants to hear everyone sing so he can see who's bad. And I just love this. This is not an audition, so relax. But if you sing bad, you're out of here.
Like a reverse audition. You're already here, but you will be removed.
Right, exactly. You could be cut. And Tom is being creepy and whispering to Anne, and saying, "You sound like an angel," and everyone else sounds like demons. Honestly, that's very sweet to me. But it's very creepy in the way that he says it. And then this is where Chris sings "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," as Maddie mentioned in her summary, and it's so awful. I do like seeing, this is what I was going to say, like, I like seeing him, okay, like is a strong word, I guess, but it is an interesting layer of Chris's character to see him be bad at something, because he's always so good at everything and perfect and looks perfect and runs perfectly and is healthy and smart and all these things. And we're starting to see that there are more layers to him. Like, he can be sad, he can be heartbroken, he doesn't need to be, or he can't be happy all of the time. Like, he is an actual human, not this like super god person. So I really thought that was interesting to kind of portray, and maybe I'm being deep with it, I don't know, but I thought it was interesting to portray that in the ways of singing, because not everybody can sing. I mean, everybody can sing, but not everybody can like sing in a tune. And I thought that was really wonderful. Also that he changes the lyrics too, kind of. I would like to eat at the game.
I was like, so do people not know the words to "Take Me Out to the Ball Game"?
No, I like popcorn and candy and the whole team and the game. Oh my God, it's so funny. Well, I mean, I'm trying to think. What are the lyrics? Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the game.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack.
Cracker Jacks.
I don't care.
I don't care if I never come back. Or root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Not, I would like to eat at the game.
Right. How many times do we go to baseball games? But we know the words.
But we know that. That's true. Good call, Molly. Yeah.
Oh.
So he's also not remembering lyrics, which also shows a layer.
Face at the end of, like, when he's holding the last note, and he's like,
oh my God. Everybody, I wrote that, the facial expressions of everyone while he's singing, and Andy's like trying to move and like count with him, like he's holding his hand up kind of snapping, and Anne's look to the camera. Ron definitely has that like squinty, like this is sour facial expression. But Chris is just so into it, and it is embarrassing to like sing in front of everybody. I can't imagine singing in front of all your coworkers. I guess at this point they're kind of friends, but still.
That's true. He went for it.
He went for it. He did. That's what he's really good at. Oh, God. Okay. Then we're back at the restaurant. The check comes and Dave is confused because she's trying to get out of there as fast as possible. And he's like, but you like dessert. Like, you should get more. You should get dessert. This server is played by Brandon Zornberger, and he's been in 6 episodes of Adam Ruins Everything, grandfathered with John Stamos, Jimmy Kimmel, The Mick. He's done a ton of improv. I actually knew him at iOS. We never did improv together, but I think he was the manager or something of the bar or something like this at iOS, but I knew him. And I did reach out to him, but he didn't really think that he'd have anything like to add since it was so short. But I was like, okay, I mean, I like to hear anything, but that's okay. And in the deleted scenes, he does have like, I think 1 or 2 more lines or something, but you know, he's playing a waiter, so I get it. But here, this is where Leslie's like just trying to run away. She's like, let's get out of this situation immediately. And then this amazing, funny scene happens where they're like all standing, and Dave is like, I'd like to talk to Leslie alone. And Ben is like, well, I'd like to talk to you alone. And if not, I'd like to talk to Leslie. And then Leslie would like to talk to Ben, and then the 3 of us together. And they're like, okay, so who's talking first? Which, like, I think it's actually, again, I mean, I might be going too deep with it, but they did such a brilliant job of like kind of creating these characters that all will essentially go together because they all like each other. They dated each other. I mean, well, 2 of them did. And so like you all see kind of the, I I don't know. I guess just the personalities of what's going to mesh. So they're all thinking kind of the same thing and they have the same ideas because they all like each other and have a lot in common. So I just think it's really hilarious. Which also, this reminds me it reminded me of the scene in Friends, which I think you might know, where Phoebe is dating Paul Rudd, which all crossover. And she also sees Hank Azaria or, oh God, the scientist. Is it David? Which it's making me second guess because there's a Dave in here. I think it's David. David, the scientist. Yeah, I think it's David. And they like start pointing at each other and like their fingers are like, well, I'll show you. And they both are like the same vibe. Like you can see, that's what I mean. You can see it's the same type. Mm-hmm. Like Leslie has a type, Phoebe has a type. And no one's going to get anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Back at the studio, we're running the song again, and you can hear some harmonies in there. It is happening. I think Rashida is decent at singing / can hold a tune. Tom comes in, stops the song with flowers, and he's like, I don't care who knows. And Anna's like, duh, I care, dummy. And Anna's like, no, we're done. I'm good. Which I think is funny. And then Dave is talking to Ben in the men's room, and this is funny. I have feelings for Leslie in a womanly way, and I think she feels the same for me in a manly way. Oh, God. And she doesn't. She has a boyfriend, is what Ben says. That information is not pertinent at this juncture. Trying to speak in his like cop voice. I think it looks like Adam Scott's about to break too. Like it looks like he's gonna laugh.
That's so funny. And then he says a word that doesn't exist.
Yeah, you're contraring me. That's where I wonder if he like improvised that because it does seem like Ben's about to laugh. So, oh my God. Then Dave handcuffs Ben to the urinal because Ben won't give the blessing for him to like try to win Leslie over. Just pure impulse right now. Dave is not thinking anything through at all. But he does get Leslie alone finally, and he tells her this lie that Ben said, I don't respect her as a woman.
She's like, he said that?
He said that. And Leslie's like, okay, fine, just say what you need to say. And then like that's, again, when I say pure impulse, it's like, did you not think that Ben would try to call Leslie or text her or something? And again, with the direct bluntness, this is where I was talking about like in social cues where she's like, what were you thinking? And he's like, we'd have time to talk while he was locked up and then you'd decide to be with me and then we'd uncuff him together. Oh my God. Okay, so now we're back at the studio. This is where Maddie was talking about it's raining outside, and Tom is like, ladies love guys waiting for them out in the rain, like nature's throwing me a bone, and woof, no. She doesn't even know you're out there. Like, what? Oh, God. Andy's stressed, laying on the floor of the studio, trying to figure out how to solve the problem of the song, and Ron tries to help. Also, I noticed that he has his shoes off, and I just figured that was like a random Andy thing. But then in the deleted scenes, Andy is requesting everybody take their shoes off because all the greats record barefoot, is what he says.
Oh.
So, just a little side note, Ron refuses to because he just is like, Ron. And then Jerry's, oh my gosh, this is so funny. I think they should have kept it in. But Jerry's feet stink apparently, and everybody was like, what is happening? And he's like, I've been to doctors. He said, he has this line of, there's nothing science can do. Doctor said there's nothing science can do for me. And then Andy like is like, just breathe through your nose or whatever. And he's like, you can taste it when you breathe in. It's so like nasty thinking about that. Ugh. Anyway, that was a funny deleted scene. Also, when Andy is like banging his head against the floor, it looks really hard.
Yeah.
But I guess he does that kind of stuff. Like when he was hanging his gold record and everything. Then he's kind of offensive, but he doesn't mean to be, where he's like, no offense, Ron, but what do you know about music? Yikes. Well, Chris / Andy, you're about to learn. Because Ron feels bad, so he begrudgingly, but also to be nice, says like, and also to prove him wrong a tiny bit, probably, maybe, tells Andy to take a walk, just clear your head. And I think it's really funny because I guess Ron must have this relationship with the engineer because he just makes like the sax like gesture. Like he's playing air sax, essentially. And the engineer's like, yeah, got it. You know? And then this is where Tom is waiting out in the rain. Like, and boo-boo. Dummy. Oh, God. I don't know if I've ever had a rain moment with a person, a romantical person. I feel like that's just in the movies.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
So, lesson learned.
Yeah.
Anyway, now we're in the car. Leslie's trying to turn this whole situation around on Ben. Like, I don't want to say I told you so, but it's really was her idea to go. And she says, I'm sorry. And for some reason, it mattered to her to get Ben's approval on him, which, again, we've talked about. Like, we're not really sure why, but, you know, whatever. And she says she wants to go home because she doesn't care about the endorsement now. She just wants to, like, put this night behind her. And I really love this, where Ben is really stepping up throughout this whole episode and was like, let's not make your terrible decision making, like, part of how you win this campaign or not, you know? Like, you still need the endorsement. And that was really great. And Leslie really responds to it. And I think that's lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we're back at the studio and Anna's like, WTF? Like, what was your thought process here? And I love how Tom says, movies. It's so funny. What would make you think I would like that? Movies.
That's fair. It's fair. Society has told us.
It is fair. It is fair. Society has told us that. Yeah. And it's also told us that, like, if they don't like you or treat you terribly, then they're in love with you, you know? So, like, I get
Yep.
Okay, so now we're at Trumple's retirement party. It's so weird. Officers are asking Ben if he wants a beer, and it's like this back and forth of, yeah, I'll definitely take a beer. And he's like, you know, but if you're driving, I can't. And I just love this back and forth with both of the officers, and Ben is like, just tell me what to do, because I'm with him. I'm like, what do you want?
I know. There was going to be a moment where they were like, we're just messing with you. But there wasn't.
Totally. Don't make a mistake you'll always regret, son. What? Oh my gosh. One of the officers is Will McLaughlin, and he's, again, just like Chief Trumple, has been in pretty much all the episodes with the police in it. I did message him, and he is going to send me some voice memos, but it was kind of too soon, so he'll send me some stuff when he is able to, and I'll add it into the next episode. We did see him, just as a reminder, we saw him in the episode with Bowling for Votes, where he takes down the report of Ben punching the mean guy that was mean to Leslie. So I love that they're bringing back the same officers. I think that's really important. And oh my gosh, there's a deleted scene here, which maybe it's just, I don't know, me, but I thought it was like yikes moment, because they come in, Ben and Leslie come into the pub, and the officer, Will McLaughlin, that I just talked about, is like, oh, you must be the the guy who stole Dave's girlfriend, and gives him like a serious dirty look.
Oh.
And there, again, like you said, there was no moment of like, I'm just joshing. It was like silence. And I was like, oh, shit. But
everything was scary. Like when he like goes to take the piece of paper out of his jacket and everybody freaks out. I'm like, this is way too intense.
So intense. They're just, yeah. And then Ben is like, okay. Oh, this is also in the deleted scene, I believe, where Ben is like, okay, you go talk to Dave. I'll go talk to the chief. Leslie's like, no, like, I don't want to talk to Dave. It's fine. But Ben is really set on the fact that Dave is important to Leslie for whatever reason. I don't think he or we understand. But so Leslie, you know, is like, okay, fine, I'll go talk to him. And I like that when the deleted scene, I understand why they cut it, obviously, because we don't really need to see like the setup. But I always love that when deleted scenes kind of show how we got to where we do see, or what we do see, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, also, oh my gosh, this is also in the deleted scene. When the camera pans back to Ben after Ben's like, go talk to Dave, the cops are staring at him, and Ben is like, I don't have any pot. And it's so awkward and funny, and it's like exactly what the 9/11 joke does. So I think that's why they cut it, because it's just the same. But oh my god, Ben. Crazy. Okay, these officers, by the way, I talked about Will McLaughlin, but the other officer who is kind of like yes and knowing the beer thing is named Tracy Howe, who's also, or maybe I think it's Howe, Howe, who's also been a recurring officer. He's been in The Blacklist, Elementary, 24, NCIS, a bunch of others. So good job to him. Glad that we could shout you out. And then this is where Leslie is talking to Dave. And she's like, you know, if you move here, great. And I hope we can be friends and stuff. But if you do stuff like this, I can't be friends with you. Like, I'm in love with Ben. And that's that. And Dave apologizes, which is nice. And he calls Ben Shrimpy, which I think is kind of funny, obviously, because it's just funny. But anyway, he really wants like Leslie to be protected. And I think that's why he says Shrimpy, because, you know, he's like, he's small and he won't protect you, but I will. And then Leslie tells him about how Ben punched a guy for her, which I think is really hilarious that he's like, well, good for him. I mean, not that, whatever. Tell me where that guy is and I'll punch him too. I just thought that delivery was really funny. There is a sweet deleted scene here also where Dave apologizes to Ben, which I think is really nice and I don't think should have been cut, because I think that's important for Dave to apologize to Ben too for the whole cuffing situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Sorry, I handcuffed you to the bathroom and also told your girlfriend that I was in love with
her while you were there. Oh my God. Ugh. But Leslie's there to witness it, which I think is really important as well. And they shake hands and it's very like special. And I think, well, I don't know. I'm probably reading too much into it, but the tag which we'll talk about, is probably his apology, maybe kind of to Ben, in a weird way. Anyway. Okay. So now we're back at the studio and Andy is saying like, we have to start over. Everything is bad. I wrote a new song, The Promise of Tomorrow's Wings. Which, as a reminder, when we first, I can't remember what the first ever song was. I think it was The Pit. But they talk about how in the commentary that Mark Rivers, the one who wrote this, and Andy, like as, you know, Chris Pratt as Andy has to have like wings, champion, and like flying or whatever, like all in all of his songs essentially. Mm-hmm. And it's very true. It's very, very true. So he definitely has a way that he likes to songwrite. But anyway, Chuck actually looks like the engineer guy, like actually looks like he's about to delete everything because Andy's like, you know, just scrap it. And I was like, what? Why are we about to delete everything? You and Ron just had a moment. And Ron is like, wait, hold on. You know, don't delete everything. And Andy hears this and knows that it sounds better. He's like, is that a new mix? Like, where is that saxophone coming from? Which I think is wonderful. And it leads me to believe that Ron knows how to like mix music as well, you know, or like what to, you know, say or produce, you know what I mean? Which is really interesting and lovely. I don't know. I just think it's a really interesting factor of like, if Duke Silver's recording, he like is a producer on his records probably too. Oh my gosh, this is where Jerry finds a flyer of Duke Silver and April like smashes the cymbals to distract him. That looked real though. Like that's not a good thing to smash the cymbals right next to your ears.
I did not think about that.
I hope Jerry's okay.
Do they make like prop cymbals that look like they're making a sound, but they're not really that?
I guess they could have. And they could have done it like, I don't know, maybe they like could have upped the volume or something and it wasn't as hard as it looked, but
yeah.
I don't know. My brain was like, oh my God, that's really bad for you. But anyways, okay, so now we're back at the pub. Ben is fighting for Leslie to Chief Trumbull, and trying to be like, listen, you should just endorse Leslie. This is where he takes something out of his jacket and everyone freaks out that he might have a gun, and it's like very intense and weird. And then Ben makes these really great points that Newport is only going to be short term. Like he doesn't actually care about you. He just wants to give you a few things to get, you know, off your back or whatever. But Leslie has this plan like long term to raise pensions, cut hours, make their lives actually better. And then he ruins it. He like has them and then he gets awkward again. Pretty sweet sauce in there, Ace. Like, I love that though. Like, what's wrong with you? I don't know. But this really shows how great of a campaign manager Ben is, because Leslie probably would not have gone to the retirement party, like with the whole situation with Dave. And I think that's really interesting too, where again, back to his line of like, I'm holding her back. Like that's just not true. So I guess Ben was just saying that to make Dave feel better. I don't know. I think that's what it was. Anyway, Trumbull ends up giving Leslie the endorsement, which is amazing because Ben really nailed it, honestly. And it's really nice to see them working together. And I just love that because I feel like that's a really, I don't know, we don't think that that's like part of the story. But to me, watching this, that was like a really pertinent part of this whole episode was like Ben is really stepping up in all the ways, you know? I mean, he's awkward and weird, but he gets the job done, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that.
It's very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I love this line. I'm about to endorse 10 beers into my mouth because this has been a very stressful evening. All right, so now we're all leaving the studio. Oh my gosh, this is the best part of the whole thing. Tom says no gimmicks, no playbooks to Anne. And then he just fails. This song is so great. I thought that we should hear it. I recorded it.
Baby, I'm sorry for how I acted. But if you give me another chance, I could be the boo of your dreams, girl. So when you're sleeping and you're dreaming of a boo, I want that boo to be me. I want me to be that boo. So when you date me, I'm saying
okay, yes, fine. Yes, I will. I will go out with you. Enough, please.
Really?
Yes. Dude, you wore me down. Just stop singing, please.
I would love to know also who wrote this? Was it Mark Rivers? I could see Alan Yang writing this too, because I know him and Aziz Ansari have a lot of like similar, familiar things. Or like, was it just the lyrics and then he added in the melody? I don't know. It was just so perfect. Love it.
So funny. That like sticks in your head. Like
it does.
I want me to be that boo.
Oh my gosh. And at the end, will you date me, baby, date me? Oh my God. It's like a kid saying like, mom. You know what I mean? Oh my God. 4 sweetest words in the English language. You wore me down. I feel like I would react so differently. I don't know. Like, would I be super into it? Or would I want to slap him? Or would I do what Anne did? I can't decide.
Hard to
put it to the test.
That did make me laugh, though, because there was somebody who, I don't know if this was a podcast I was listening to. There's someone who says you never hear a man say, like, you know, she just wore me down. Like, hear that at wedding speeches where it's like the guy wore the girl down, she gave in, and now they're in love. But, like, it's never the other way around.
That is so funny. That really reminds me. I always think about this with Big Bang Theory. Do you watch that show?
Mm-mm.
Or have you watched it? Okay. I watched it a while back because I had never seen it before. It's on Max, HBO. And that's how the main two people, Penny, I think is her name, the blonde gal, and the one with the glasses. Again, their whole love line is, he just wore me down. I just decided to stop fighting it. And I was like, what the fuck?
Is that appealing?
Is that like, you're interested in that? That's what always, and I mean, look, I understand to a certain degree because everybody has their own journey that they're going through, but the whole thing of like when a guy doesn't like you, like that is the biggest turnoff for me. I'm like, if you don't like me, even friendship, I'm just like, if you don't like me, I'm not trying.
Right.
That's the biggest turn on when you like me and you're trying to like get with me and you're obsessed with me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Anne, good luck, baby girl. Great song, though. That's what we get from it. Okay, the very last thing is the tag where Dave sees Ben letting all these cops go to the bathroom before him, and it's so funny because Ben is letting everyone just pass him, and I love Dave's line of like, this is where the sternness / directness really comes in handy and works in this moment, where he's like, why would you just be standing here? Why would you just be outside of the bathroom randomly? And then he lets him go in, and Ben really needs Dave at this moment, and I think that's kind of like their moment of like, okay, we're good. I'll let you go to the bathroom. He's like, thank you so much. Oh, well, that was Dave Returns. We did it.
What a great episode.
Oh, so good. And Molly, now that I know that you are interested in coming on and being here, then I will ask you more often. You can be our park pal. We have a great community here. I'll tag you and everything. This will probably come out in a couple months, maybe a month or two. I don't know. But yeah, so I hope that everybody had a great holiday, however you celebrate. Molly, I will also put your website on the thing if anybody is interested. And thank you again so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is so fun.
Yes, it's so fun to just laugh for 2 hours at Parks and Rec. Okay, well, thank you again. And yeah, everybody don't forget to rate and review and subscribe and do all the things that you need to do to make this podcast a thing. And we have exciting things happening in 2024. So keep us posted if you have any requests. But otherwise, we'll see you next time. Bye. You can say bye too, Molly.
Okay, bye.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.